Bismillahirrohmanirrohim. Hello English language learners. In this lesson, we will explore modals part 1 for present time, future time, and continuous, presented by Bandung Linguophile Learner. Please watch this video until the end. Subscribe to my channel and kindly activate your notification bell to receive new lessons and stay up to date. Definition. Modals are used to show a speaker's feelings towards their attitudes, such as doubt, necessity, and possibility. In bahasa Indonesia, modal digunakan untuk menunjukkan perasaan pembicara terhadap sikapnya, seperti keraguan, keharusan, dan kemungkinan. So, what is the modal? Modal is the helping verb or an auxiliary verb. There are 11 modals. For example, can, could, had better, may, might, must, ought, shall, should, will, would. To make an affirmative sentence structure is subject plus modal plus base form plus object. The rule modals are: Number 1, we must use the base form of the verb. Number 2, we cannot add the ed. Number 3, we cannot add the ing form. Number 4, we cannot add the s form. Number 5, we cannot add to infinitive form. To make a negative sentence structure is subject plus modal plus not plus base form plus object. An interrogative sentence structure using yes or no question is modal plus subject plus base form plus object and question mark. To make an interrogative sentence structure using WH question is WH question plus modal plus subject plus base form plus object and question mark. To form a passive sentence structure is object plus modal plus be plus past participle. Modal verbs are used to express the speaker's attitudes and feelings, including ability, possibility, necessity, advisability or suggestion, request or asking, polite request, making suggestions, best guesses or logical conclusions, and expectation. Can is used to express ability. Understanding can. A review. Number 1. Can is used to express physical ability in the present time. Number 2. Can is used to express physical ability in the future time. Here are some examples of affirmative sentences using can. I can speak English. We can speak English. You can speak English. He can speak English. She can speak English. It can speak English. They can speak English. The negation of can has 3 forms. Number 1, cannot is used in academic writing and formal situations. Number 2, can't is used in everyday conversations and informal situations. Number 3, cannot is archaic and no longer recommended in standard English. Negative sentences using cannot. For example, I cannot speak Arabic. We cannot speak Arabic. You cannot speak Arabic. He cannot speak Arabic. She cannot speak Arabic. It cannot speak Arabic. They cannot speak Arabic. Interrogative sentences. For example, can we speak English? Can you speak English? Can he speak English? Can she speak English? Can it speak English? Can they speak English? Four modal verbs are commonly used to express possibility. 1. Can. 2. Could. 3. May. 4. Might. Understanding four modals that express possibility. Can. To show possibility in the present. Can. To express a general possibility. Could. To show possibility in the present. May. To show possibility in the present or in the future. Might. To show possibility in the present or future. Remember, when asking questions about possibility, we rarely start with may, might, or could. We often use will instead. But when giving short answers, may, might, or could are commonly used. Affirmative sentences. For example, I may encounter difficulties in learning a new language. We might encounter difficulties when learning new languages. You might get your paycheck next week. He may have difficulty learning a new language. She might find difficulty when learning a new language. It can be snowy today. Must is commonly used to express necessity. Understanding must, a review. Must is used in academic writing and formal instructions such as forms, signs, manuals, rules, and laws. Number 2, the speaker typically holds a position of authority. Number 3, must is used to express urgent necessity. Number 4, avoid using must to express personal obligations. Number 5, must is typically used to express obligations or necessities in the present or future. Affirmative sentences using must. For example, I must have a driver's license to drive a car. We must have a driver's license to drive a car. You must have a driver's license to drive a car. He must have a driver's license to drive a car. She must have a driver's license to drive a car. They must have a driver's license to drive a car. 3 modal verbs are commonly used to express advisability. Understanding advisability, a review. Should, ought to, and had better mean this is a good idea. Ought to is used in affirmative sentences, but not in negative or question sentences. Had better is used to advise someone to do something, implying that not doing it will have bad results. Affirmative sentences. For example, I should stay home today. We ought to save our money. You had better drive slowly. He should sleep now. She ought to study hard. They had better stop texting while they are driving. Can and could are used to make suggestions. Understanding suggestion, a review. Can and could mean that someone suggests several possible options or actions. Affirmative sentences. For example, I could try your suggestion. We could try it. You can try it. She could ask for help from her friends. He can ask for help from his friends. You can apply for a job after graduating from your school. Request. Six modal verbs are commonly used to express requests such as may, could, can, would, will, and can. When making requests, the interaction usually involves two parties, the speaker, I, and the listener, you. In this context, the speaker is asking the listener for something, such as permissions, assistance, or favor. Understanding request, a review. Can sounds informal. We use it to make casual or friendly requests. May is a formal way to make a request. When using may, it is typically used with the subject I and we. Could is a formal way to make a request. Could means are you willing and able to do this? In a polite request, could it is not a past meaning. Understanding request, a review. Would, when making requests, would is often preferred because it sounds more polite. Would means are you willing to do this? Will. Will can be used to make requests, but it can sometimes sound a bit direct or even imperative. Affirmative sentences, for example, could I borrow your pen? Could you lend me some money? May I have 2 orange juices, please? Would you pass the sugar, please? Polite request. Would you mind? Understanding would you mind? Formal and informal ways to ask for permission. The phrase would you mind is commonly used in English to request permission. For formal situations such as in academic or professional setting, would you mind plus simple past form? In informal situations such as with friends or acquaintances, we use the informal structure such as would you mind plus base form. In very informal situations such as with close friends, we can use the shortened form. Mind if. Understanding would you mind. The phrase would you mind is frequently used to politely request someone to perform an action. The typical sentence structure for this phrase is would you mind plus verb ing or gerund. For example, affirmative sentences. Would you mind if I smoke here? Would you mind if I played loud music? Would you mind throwing this bag into the trash can? Mind if I check your mail? When making suggestions, shall is used to express a suggestion. Shall is typically used with the subjects I and we only. Understanding making suggestions. Number 1. Making suggestion is asking someone if the person agrees with the suggestion. Number 2. Shall is used for the subject I or we. Number 3. Shall is used in formal English. For example, affirmative sentences. Number 1. Shall we leave at 12? Is that okay? It means let's consider leaving at 12. What do you think? Number 2. Shall I make you a cup of warm tea? It means would you like me to make you a cup of warm tea? Number 3. Shall I read this letter for you? It means would you like me to read this letter for you? Must is used to express logical conclusions. Logical conclusions. Understanding must. Number one, must is used to make conclusions based on observations or evidence. Number two, must is used to make estimations. Number three, must is used to make negative sentences. We use can't or couldn't. An affirmative sentence. For example, number one, he must be a rich person. He was able to buy an expensive house. A negative sentence. For example, number one, it cannot be him because I'm supposed to meet a girl. Her profile picture also shows a girl. Should be is used to express expectation. An affirmative sentence. For example, Rita should be reached home by now. A negative sentence. For example, Rita should not be reached home by now. Using modals with the present continuous tense. Four modal verbs are commonly used with the present continuous tense, such as must to express degrees of certainty, might to express possibility, could to express possibility, should to express expectation. These modals express different meanings when talking about ongoing actions. We use modals with the present continuous tense. The sentence structure is subject plus modal plus be plus present participle or verb ing. Affirmative sentences. For example, number one, you must be sleeping. Number two, you might be spending too much of your time on Facebook. Number three, you could be losing your time. Number four, you should be managing your time wisely. Conclusion. You have learned modals as auxiliary verbs such as can, could, had better, may, might, must, ought, shall, should, will, would. Now you know how to make sentences using modals in English. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more grammar tips and explanations. Bye! References. This page is in